Dear students, I, Dr. Abhay Srivastava, will teach you Botany paper 2nd, that is plant physiology. This paper consists of several topics. The first one is membrane transport and translocation of water in solutes, plant-water relation, diffusion, imbibition, osmosis, plasmolysis, DPD, water potential, water transport through xylem, comparison of xylem and phloem transport, phloem loading and unloading, passive and active solute transport, membrane transport protein and water loss. And the second topic is that respiration. Overview of plant respiration, glycolysis and TCA cycle, electrons transport and ATP synthesis, pentose phosphate pathway, glyoxylate cycle, alternate oxidase system. And the third topic is photochemistry and photosynthesis. General concept and historical backgrounds, evolution of photosynthetic apparatus, photosynthetic pigments and light harvesting complexes, photooxidation of water, mechanism of electron and proton transport and carbon assimilation, Calvin cycle, photorespiration and its significance, the C4 cycle, CAM pathway, biosynthesis of starch and sucrose, physiology and ecological consideration. The next topic is sensory photobiology, that history and discovery of phytochromes and cryptochromes and their photochemical and biochemical properties, photophysiology of light-induced response, cellular localization and molecular mechanism of photomorphogenetic responses. The next topic is plant growth regulatory and elicitor, physiological effects and mechanism, action of auxins, gibberellin, cytokinins, ethylene and abscisic acid. The next one is flowering processes, that is photoperiodism and its significance, endogenous clock and its regulation, floral induction and development, genetic and molecular analysis, role of vernalization. The last topic is stress physiology, that is plant response to biotic, abiotic stress, tolerance, HR and SR, water deficit and drought resistance, salinity stress, metal toxicity, freezing and heat stress, oxidative stress. This is all your syllabus, and we start with the third topic, that is the photochemistry and photosynthesis. And this topic is big topic, and the concept of photosynthesis is very important, and you people know that it is a very simple process and very simple we know that in this process the free atmospheric carbon dioxide is fixes in plants in the form of carbohydrate, but all plants is not cannot fix this free atmospheric carbon dioxide. Only the green plants have capacity to fix this atmospheric carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. The process of photosynthesis, in very simple means or in very simple words, the process of photosynthesis is defined as the formation of food or the synthesis of food by green plants in presence of sunlight with the help of water and carbon dioxide with the release of oxygen molecule. But nowadays, in modern terminology, this definition is somewhat changed. Nowadays, it is only conversion of this radiant energy into the chemical energy, that is in the form of carbohydrate. It is very simple, but behind this there are so many steps and so many processes takes place. As the name, that is the photo means light. Light is, as the name, the light is necessary for this process. And the process of photosynthesis, as we know, is divided into two phases, that is light phase and dark phase. But nowadays this light phase and dark phase is changed into light dependent phase and light independent phase. As I have told you, that is in this process the fixation of carbon dioxide takes place, but the fixation or that is the assimilation of carbon dioxide takes place only in the light independent phase. In light dependent phase, there are different steps and processes occurs, and this process takes place in presence of light, and that it also affected by the quality of the light as well as the intensity of the light. Dear students, I will first start with the topic photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process in which green plants manufacture their own food with the help of sunlight, water molecule, carbon dioxide with the release of oxygen. And nowadays it is known as photosynthesis is simply a process in which the solar energy is converted into chemical form of energy, or in other words we can say the radiant energy is converted into chemical form of energy. The process of photosynthesis is very complicated process, and it is divided into two phases. That is, and this process of photosynthesis is divided into two phases. The first one is that light dependent phase, and the second phase is known as light independent phase. In light dependent phase, the 5 steps occur. That is, first is the absorption of light quanta, the first step. The second step is that their migration of light quanta to reaction center, and the third step is that formation of energy power, that is ATP, and the fourth step is that formation of reducing power, that is NADPH2, and the fifth is photolysis of water molecule. So here we know that in the light dependent phase, that is the process for which light is necessary, is known as the light dependent phase, and here the 5 steps occur. That is the absorption of light quanta, second step is that migration of light quanta to reaction center, and third is formation of energy power, that is ATP, and the fourth is formation of reducing power, that is NADPH2, and the fifth one is the photolysis of water molecule, that is lysis means breakage, photo means light, that is the breakage of water molecule in light. And the second phase is that light independent phase. Here only the fixation of, in light independent phase, fixation of free atmospheric carbon dioxide in the form of carbohydrate in plants. Now we come to the light dependent phase, means the processes or the steps for which light is necessary, or in other words, in absence of light, these steps never occurs. In light dependent phase, the first step is absorption of light quanta. The question is that in plants, what is that, or who is responsible for the absorption of light quanta? In plants or in green plants, there are so many photosynthetic pigments which absorbs light quanta. There are different types of photosynthetic pigments, that is chlorophyll molecules, carotenoid molecules, and phycobilins. And in chlorophyll, there are also different types of chlorophyll molecules, that is chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D, chlorophyll E, phycobilins, that is phycocyanin and phycoerythrin, and carotenoids, that is carotene and xanthophyll. In that, but here is one question is very important, that is the process of synthesis can take place only in the solar light or in artificial light also. But you people know that the process of photosynthesis also takes place in artificial light. As you know, there are so many culture rooms where the photosynthetic plants grows in presence of artificial light. So it proves that the photosynthetic process can also take place in artificial light also. There are, in system, there are different wavelengths of light. That is the visible range of light, which is also known as the photosynthetic active radiation, and that ranges from 4000 Armstrong to 7000 Armstrong, or below that is UV light. Below 4000 Armstrong is UV light, and above 7000 Armstrong is infrared light. So the solar light is divided into three categories. That is, first is here, that is UV light, and this is PAR, and this is PAR, and this is infrared light. The range of PAR is, that is from 4000 Armstrong to 7000 Armstrong, and below this wavelength is ultraviolet radiation, and this is infrared red radiation. The photosynthetic process takes place in this region, that is photosynthetic. It is also known as photosynthetic active radiation, and it is also known as the visible light. Ultraviolet light have the wavelength below the 4000 Armstrong, and it is the energy of ultraviolet light is very high because the wavelength is very low, and you know the relation between the wavelength and energy is inversely proportional. As the wavelength increases, the energy decreases. So the energy of UV light is more than the visible light, and in infrared the wavelength is very high and its energy is very low. So this ultraviolet radiation is very injurious, as we know that it causes cancer because it damages DNA. It has high energy, it can easily penetrate the skin and damages DNA and causes cancer. Now next question is that in which light the process of photosynthesis occurs maximum. The visible light, you know, it also consists of 7 types of light, that is Vibgyor, V for violet, I for indigo, B for blue, that is blue, indigo, violet, and green, yellow, orange, and red. The process of photosynthesis maximum occurs in the blue light and in the red light. The process of photosynthesis maximum occurs in blue light and red light, but the minimum photosynthesis occurs in the green light. Green light, the minimum photosynthesis, because the chlorophyll colors, the chlorophyll is in green color, and you know the object which when the total visible light fall on an object, the object absorbs only those light where the color The maximum photosynthesis process occurs in blue light and red light, and minimum or least or no photosynthesis process occurs in green light. The reason behind is that the chlorophyll molecule is green in color, so it cannot absorb green color light and it reflects all the green light. So the process of photosynthesis cannot occur in green light. Next to this is that the next step is that when all the chlorophyll molecules or carotenoid molecules and phycobilins absorb this radiant or the solar light, they in the form of photon light quanta, they absorb the light quanta in the form of photon, and they that is called all the light energy then migrates to the reaction center. This is the second step, and the reaction center is present in two types of photosystem, that is photosystem 1 and 2. The next 4 steps of light dependent phase is the migration of light quanta to the reaction center. Next to this is the formation of energy power, that is ATP, and it is also known as the phosphorylation. And when this ATP, the formation of ATP is known as the phosphorylation. When the ATP formation takes place during photosynthesis, then it is known as the photophosphorylation. And next is the formation of reducing power, that is NADH2. And next to this is the photolysis of water molecule. And all the last 4 steps of light dependent phases is occurred during the process of electron transport system, or it is also known as Z scheme. This is the picture of electron transport chain, or it is also called as Z scheme. Here the 2 photosystems are present, that is photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Photosystem 1 is also known as P700, whereas the photosystem 2 is also known as the P680. P700 means it absorbs the light quanta of wavelength 700 nm, whereas this P680 absorbs the light quanta of wavelength this 680 nm. Both these systems, that is PS1 and PS2, are interconnected through different electron transport carriers. And here the first and both the systems have chlorophyll molecules, carotenoid molecules, and other photosynthetic pigments, and they absorb light quanta. And after absorbing light quanta, they becomes excited, and when they excited, they releases their energy in the form of electron, and this electron goes to this excited state of P700 molecule, and and then it comes back to this P700 again, and during their transfer to P700 again, they releases some of its energy, and which energy is absorbed by ADP and inorganic phosphate for the formation of ATP molecule, and the formation of ATP molecule by PS1 is known as the cyclic photophosphorylation, because this ATP is formed when the electron goes from P700 to this excited state of P700, and when it comes back to again P700, and formation of ATP takes place, and this is the cyclic process. So the formation of ATP is known as the cyclic photophosphorylation. When this chlorophyll P700 molecule releases its electron, it becomes oxidized, and it is oxidized, and for its reduction it also needs electron, which is given by this P680 molecule, which absorbs light energy and becomes excited and releases its energy in the form of electron, which goes to P700 by different electron carriers, that is pheophytin, quinine, plastoquinone, and then cytochrome F, plastocyanin, etc. When it passes from plastoquinone, and it releases some of its energy, and this energy is absorbed by ADP and inorganic phosphate for the formation of ATP. And this molecule of P680, and after release of electron, it becomes oxidized, and for its reduction, this water molecules becomes, it also absorbs energy, light energy, and becomes dehydrogenated, or the photolysis of water molecule takes place, and there a release of hydrogen ion and electron which goes through this P680 molecule and different electron carriers to P700, and then to P700 excited state, and then different carriers to ferredoxin, where this ferredoxin becomes reduced, and there is reduction of NADP to NADPH2. And here, when the electron passes from this P680 to P700, it releases some energy which is absorbed by the ADP and inorganic phosphate, or used by this ADP or inorganic phosphate for the formation of ATP. And this the formation of ATP is also known as the photophosphorylation. And this type of photophosphorylation is known as non-cyclic photophosphorylation, because here the electron never comes back. The question is that the electron always moves from that P680 to P700 and never from P700 to P680. Why? Here the chlorophyll, because in P700 the number of chlorophyll A molecules is more, whereas in P680 in comparison to that the chlorophyll A molecules is less in number. Here the chlorophyll A molecule absorbs the light quanta of 780 700 nm, and here the light wavelength is high, so its energy is less, and P680 absorbs the light quanta of 680 nm and the wavelength is low, and so its energy is high. And electron always moves from high potential to lower potential, so the electron moves from P680 to P700, never from P700 to P680. And here when this breakage of water molecule takes place, for this light is also necessary, and this process is also known as the photolysis of water molecule. Next, and this is the slide which shows the difference between photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. The first difference between photosystem 1 and 2 is about the photosynthetic pigments. PS1, photosystem 1 is made up of about more chlorophyll molecules, that is 200 to 400 chlorophyll molecules, 50 carotenoid molecules, 1 molecule of reaction center, that is P700, plastocyanin, cytochrome F, and ferredoxin. And PS2, it contains about 200 chlorophyll molecules, 50 carotenoid molecules, 1 molecule of reaction center of P680, an unknown substance, that subunit, that is Z, manganese, chlorine, quinine, plastoquinone, cytochrome B6, cytochrome F, and plastocyanin. Here, in photosystem 1, the chlorophyll B molecule is less. The number of chlorophyll B molecules is less, whereas in photosystem 2, the chlorophyll B molecule is more. Number of chlorophyll B molecule is more. And this P700, this is photosystem 1 is the reaction center of P700, whereas photosystem 2 is the reaction center of P673. And this photosystem 1 is located on the inner surface of the thylakoid, which is thylakoid. This is the it is present in the chloroplast and thylakoid in the inner surface of the thylakoid, whereas the photosystem is present located on the outer surface of the thylakoid. In photosystem 1, as you know, there is no oxygen evolution takes place. The oxygen evolution only takes place, on the formation of oxygen molecules takes place, where the oxygen, where the water molecule is breakdown, which takes place at photosystem 2. And in photosystem 1, the formation of reducing power takes place, whereas in photosystem 1, there is no formation of reducing power, that is the NADS2. Photosystem 1, it participates both in cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation, whereas the photosystem only participates in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. And next to that, when the ultracentrifugation of chloroplast takes place, the photosystem 1 is the lighter part, and which comes up where as the light fraction, whereas the photosystem is the heavier part and settles down. And as far as the light is concerned, the PS1, that is the photosystem, is active both in red and far red light, whereas the photosystem 2 is active only far red light. This is all about today's class, and next class I will discuss with the cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation and this photooxidation of water molecule, and then pseudocyclic photophosphorylation, and besides that red drop effect, immersion enhancement effect, and other factors.